You know that feeling, right? You're really trying to get a good habit going, like, I don't know, meditating consistently. Or maybe kicking a bad one, like constantly checking your phone.
Oh yeah, that struggle is real. That space between wanting to do something and actually doing it.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into that. We're pulling apart the big ideas from James Clear's Atomic Habits, trying to figure out what actually makes habits stick.
And just as importantly, what trips us up. Our goal here isn't just to summarize the book, but to really pull out those key insights, those moments that might make you think differently about your own routines.
Okay, so where should we start? There's this idea he brings up early on, the plateau of latent potential. I find that one really resonates.
The ice cube analogy?
Yeah, you're heating it up, right? 25 degrees, 30, 31, and nothing. It looks like nothing's happening. You feel like all that effort is just, well, wasted.
But it's not. It's being stored. That's the key, isn't it? The energy is building up.
Until, boom, 32 degrees, it melts. So for someone feeling stuck, the idea is trust that process, even when you can't see the change.
Exactly. It's realizing progress isn't always, linear. We want instant results. And if we don't get them, it's so easy to just quit.
Right.
But that plateau concept reminds us those small actions are adding up, like compound interest almost.
Yeah.
It starts slow, but stick with it.
So focus on the doing, not just the outcome. Trust the daily reps are counting for something.
That's a good way to put it. Trust the reps.
Yeah.
Because eventually you hit that breakthrough.
Which looks like overnight success to everyone else.
Okay. Yeah. They only see the melted ice cube, not the degrees leading up to it.
Okay, so keeping that idea of consistent effort in mind, let's talk about identity. Clear really hammers this point home.
Oh, absolutely. It's maybe the most foundational piece. Habits are tied so deeply to how we see ourselves, our core beliefs.
It makes sense. If your actions don't line up with who you think you are, they probably won't last, right?
Right. His example, like wanting more money, but seeing yourself as someone who spends, not saves or earns, that creates friction.
So changing habits isn't just willpower, it's kind of renegotiating who you are or who you want to be.
Precisely. Asking, what kind of person have the habits I want? And then working backwards from there.
And that's where the votes idea comes in. I like that one.
Me too. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the person you want to become.
One workout won't make you fit overnight, but it's a vote for, I'm someone who exercises.
Exactly. Right. One page, you're voting for, I'm a writer. Practice violin for 10 minutes, you're voting, I'm a musician.
And these little votes, they build up evidence for that new identity.
They build self-trust, too. As you keep showing up, even in small ways, you start believing, hey, maybe I can be this person.
Of course, the flip side is true, too. Skipping the workout is a vote for, well, the other identity.
Yeah, but Clear's point is you don't need perfection. You don't need 100% of the votes.
It's a majority, right? Like an election. Win more often than you lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have an off day. It happens. Just make sure the overall trend, the majority of your actions, points towards that desired identity. Get back on track.
So practically speaking then, how do you use this?
It's a two-step thing, really. Step one, decide who you want to be. What identity are you aiming for?
Okay.
Step two, prove it to yourself with small wins. Accumulate those votes. Generate evidence.
Because your identity isn't set in stone. You get to shape it with these daily choices.
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
It's less about hitting some external goal, though that might happen, and more about becoming that person.
Right. It's about the becoming. Okay, so identity is the why. Let's get into the how, the habit loop. Clear breaks it down into 4 stages.
Yep. The 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. This is like the underlying structure for every single habit we have.
Okay, walk us through them. First up, the cue.
The cue is the trigger.
Yeah.
It's the little signal to your brain that says, hey, there's a potential reward nearby. It kicks off the whole process.
Like your phone buzzing, that's a cue.
Exactly. Or walking into the kitchen and seeing cookies on the counter. Originally, these were cues for basic survival things like food or danger. Now, they're often linked to, social media likes or stress relief.
Okay, cue.
And then comes the craving.
This is the motivation, the desire. It's not actually wanting the habit itself, usually, but wanting the change in state it brings, the feeling you anticipate.
Ah, so it's the anticipation of the reward.
Precisely. That's where dopamine comes in. It spikes during the anticipation phase, driving that motivation.
Got it. Cue triggers craving. What's next?
The response. This is the actual habit. Picking up the phone, eating the cookie, going for a run. It could be a thought or an action.
The thing you actually do.
Right. And finally, the reward.
The payoff.
The payoff, exactly. It satisfies the craving, first off. But crucially, it also teaches your brain, hey, that sequence cue, craving, response that worked out well, let's remember that for next time.
So pleasure reinforces it, disappointment discourages it.
That's the feedback mechanism, yeah. It closes the loop. And if any one of these stages is weak, the habit doesn't form or breaks down.
Correct. No cue, it doesn't start. No craving, no motivation. Response is too hard, you won't do it. Reward isn't satisfying. Your brain won't bother remembering it. All four need to line up.
Okay, that makes sense. So if we want to change a habit, we need to understand this loop first.
Absolutely. Awareness is step one. You can't change what you don't notice.
So many habits are just automatic, aren't they? We don't even think about them.
We really don't. They run on autopilot. So bringing them into conscious awareness is crucial.
How do we do that? Clear mentions a couple of tools.
Yeah, one is pointing and calling, like they do in, say, Japanese train systems. You physically point and verbally state the action.
Like check mirrors, signal on, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It forces you to pay attention. Maybe a bit much for all our habits, but the principle is sound, making the non-conscious conscious.
My partner does that with keys, wallet, phone before leaving the house. Just says it out loud.
See,
Yeah.
It works. Another tool is the habit scorecard.
Right, just listing them all out.
Yeah, just take a day and jot down everything you do routinely. Brushing teeth, checking email, having coffee. Then mark each one. Good, bad, or neutral.
Just the act of writing it down probably reveals a lot.
It really does. You start seeing patterns you weren't aware of.
Okay, so once we have that awareness, we can start applying the 4 laws of behavior change. The first one is make it obvious.
Make it obvious. This builds directly on awareness and cues.
How do we make good habits more obvious? There was that study in the UK about exercise.
Right. Just telling people to exercise more didn't do much. Even tracking it wasn't the key.
But when they made a specific plan?
Exactly. An implementation intention. That was the game changer. Saying precisely when and where they would exercise.
So instead of I'll exercise more, it's I will run for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. on Tuesday around the park.
That level of specificity, it removes the guesswork, the ambiguity. It gives your intention a time and place to live in the world.
Makes it harder to just forget or put off.
Much harder. Then there's habit stacking.
Ah, yeah. Linking a new habit to one you already do.
The formula is simple. After current habit, I will new habit.
Like, after I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth. Or, after I pour my coffee, I will think of one thing I'm grateful for.
Exactly. You leverage the momentum of an existing routine. The old habit becomes the cue for the new one. It's really elegant.
And visibility matters too, right? Like seeing Starbucks everywhere makes you think of coffee.
Definitely. The more visible the cue, the more likely you are to act on it. Our environment shapes us constantly.
And since vision is so dominant for us humans, visual cues are super powerful.
Hugely powerful. So design your environment. Make the cues for good habits obvious and hide the cues for bad ones.
Like leaving your running shoes by the door. Or putting the fruit bowl on the counter instead of the cookie jar.
Simple stuff, but effective. Make the good choice the easy, visible choice.
He also talks about changing your environment entirely sometimes.
Yes, sometimes a new environment makes it easier because you escape the old triggers. Working in a library instead of your usual desk, for example.
That Vietnam War heroin study is a stark example of that, isn't it?
It really is. Soldiers heavily underdid in Vietnam, but when they came home, a completely different environment, different cues, many just stopped relatively easily. Context is incredibly powerful.
Which leads to that interesting idea. People with the best self-control, they often just structure their lives so they don't need to use it as much.
They build disciplined environments.
Right.
They remove temptation rather than constantly fighting it.
Okay, so law 1, make it obvious. What's law 2?
Law 2, make it attractive.
Make it something you want to do.
Exactly. The more appealing a habit seems, the stronger that dopamine-driven craving becomes.
It's that anticipation again. We're motivated by what we expect will feel good.
And the science backs this up. When those reward pathways light up with dopamine, habits form faster. The desire is key.
So how do we engineer that attractiveness for good habits?
One technique is temptation bundling.
Ah, pairing something you need to do with something you want to do.
Right. After habit I need, I will habit I want.
Like only listen to my favorite podcast while I'm exercising. Or after I do 10 sales calls, I'll check the sports scores.
Yes. You link the less desirable task to an immediate reward you actually enjoy. Makes the whole package more attractive.
The Polgar sisters in chess, that's about intrinsic attraction, right? They genuinely loved it.
They did, which made the intense practice feel less like a chore and more like play, almost. Finding enjoyment in the process itself is incredibly powerful.
Social norms play a big role too, don't they? What the people around us are doing?
Hugely. We imitate the closest, our friends, family. We imitate what's seen as normal in our culture. And we imitate the powerful people we admire.
So surrounding yourself with people whose habits you want to adopt,
Yeah.
that can make those habits more attractive to you.
Absolutely. Join a group where the desired behavior is the norm.
And finally, reframing. Changing how we think about a habit.
Yes, shifting your mindset. Instead of I have to exercise, think I get to move my body and improve my health.
Changing the association from obligation to opportunity?
Exactly. Associate the hard habit with a positive feeling or benefit. Even forcing a smile can, over time, make you feel slightly better, creating a positive loop.
Okay, obvious, attractive. Law 3.
Law 3, make it easy.
This seems crucial. If it's too hard, we just won't do it consistently.
Pretty much, especially at the beginning. Clear emphasizes repetition over perfection. Just show up.
It's about forming the habit first, making it automatic, then you can optimize it later.
Right. Automaticity comes from frequency, not intensity. It's about wiring those neurons together through repetition. Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together, wire together.
So it's the number of times you do it that really matters for making it stick.
That's the core idea. More reps, stronger habit. Time alone doesn't do it.
And making it easy is about reducing friction.
Reducing friction is key. Think about why bad habits are so sticky. They're often incredibly easy. Scrolling social media takes almost zero effort.
So we need to make good habits similarly frictionless.
Design your environment again. Gym, on the way home from work, easier than one across town. Laying out workout clothes the night before. Reduces morning friction.
Like that lean production idea from Japan, eliminate wasted effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Apply that to your habits. How can you make the desired action the path of least resistance?
And conversely, increase friction for bad habits.
Yes.
Yes.
Hide the remote, delete the app, unsubscribe from the emails, make the unwanted behavior harder to do.
The 2-minute rule fits here perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. Scale any new habit down so it takes less than 2 minutes to do.
Read 1 page, do 1 push-up, meditate for 1 minute.
Just start. The point isn't the 2 minutes itself, it's making starting ridiculously easy. Once you start, it's often easier to keep going. It's a gateway habit.
And that leads into habit shaping. Start small and gradually increase.
Yep. Master the 2-minute version, then make it slightly harder. Build momentum.
What about commitment devices like Victor Hugo locking away his clothes?
Yeah, that's a classic. A commitment device is a choice you make now to lock in better behavior later.
Like setting up automatic savings transfers or buying food in single-serving packages.
Or telling a friend your goal to create accountability. It makes it harder to back out when the moment of decision arrives. You increase the cost of not doing the good habit.
Automation is powerful here too.
Yeah.
Setting things up once to run automatically.
Definitely. Automatic bill pay, subscribing to healthy meal deliveries. These one-time decisions lock in future behavior and save willpower. Though tech can make bad habits too easy too, right?
Oh yeah. Binge watching, endless scrolling, designed to be frictionless.
So sometimes you need to intentionally add friction back in. I reset my social media passwords weekly sometimes just to make logging in a bit more effortful.
That's clever. Okay, obvious, attractive, easy, the final law.
Law 4, make it satisfying.
This tackles that immediate gratification problem, doesn't it? Our brains want rewards now.
Exactly. We evolved in environments where actions had immediate consequences. Eat berry, feel good, touch fire, feel pain, quick feedback.
But now, working out pays off months later. Saving pays off years later.
Delayed return environment.
Yeah.
Our brains aren't naturally wired for it. So many good habits feel like sacrifices now for a benefit way down the line. Bad habits often give pleasure now, pain later.
So we need to find a way to make the good habits feel good immediately.
That's the crux. You need some kind of immediate reinforcement. Claire calls it the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded gets repeated. What is immediately punished gets avoided.
Even a small reward.
Even small. Feeling successful right after doing the habit is key. It tells your brain, that was good, do it again.
Like tracking it, seeing progress visually.
Yes. Habit tracking is huge for this. Putting an X on a calendar, watching your savings account grow, moving a paperclip from one jar to another.
It provides immediate visual proof you did the thing, satisfying in itself.
It does 3 things. Creates a visual cue, motivates you to keep the streak going, and provides that immediate hit of satisfaction.
But he warns about Goodhart's law.
Right. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Don't get so obsessed with the metric, like steps per day, that you lose sight of the real goal, being healthier.
Don't optimize for the number at the expense of the purpose.
Exactly. And for staying on track, the don't break the chain idea is helpful.
Keep the streak alive.
Or, realistically, never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new, unwanted habit. Get back on track immediately.
Accountability partners or habit contracts fit here too, right? Making bad habits immediately unsatisfying.
Yes, having to pay a friend if you skip a workout or publicly report your progress. It adds an immediate cost to failure, making the bad habit less appealing now.
Wait, those are 4 laws. What about the advanced stuff he touches on?
Yeah, he goes beyond the basics. One thing is aligning habits with your personality or genetics. Play games where the odds are in your favor.
Lean into your natural strengths.
Pretty much. And related to that is the explore-exploit idea. Try different things initially, explore, but once you find something that works for you, double down and stick with it. Exploit.
Like Scott Adams and Dilbert combining okay skills to be unique.
Right. You don't always have to be the best, just different in a valuable way. Create your own game.
He also talks about professionals versus amateurs. Showing up even when you don't feel like it.
That's a big one. Motivation is unreliable. Professionals stick to the schedule regardless of mood. Amateurs only act when inspired. Consistency trumps intensity over the long haul.
And keeping things interesting with variable rewards, like slot machines.
Sort of, yeah. Predictable rewards can get boring. Mixing it up keeps things engaging. And the Goldilocks rule, finding challenges that are not too hard, not too easy, but just right to keep you engaged.
Finally, reflection and review, like top athletes do.
Crucial for long-term improvement. Regularly stepping back, seeing what's working, what's not, and making adjustments. Continuous improvement.
So it's an ongoing process.
Always. And it comes back to that feeling. Desire gets you started, but satisfaction, pleasure, feeling successful. That's what keeps you going.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. The big takeaway from Atomic Habits seems to be, habits are like compound interest for self-improvement.
That's a great summary. Small changes, consistently applied, lead to massive results over time. It's not about huge transformations overnight.
In understanding these laws, obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying gives you the levers to actually engineer that change intentionally.
It gives you a framework, yeah. A practical way to build the habits you want and break the ones you don't.
And remembering that core idea, it's all tied back to identity.
Every habit is a vote. You're constantly casting votes for the type of person you are becoming.
So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. Take a look at your current habits. What kind of person are they voting you into being right now?
And more importantly, what's one small vote, just one tiny action you can cast today for the identity you truly want?
Definitely check out James Clear's work if this resonated. Think about which law, which strategy feels like it could unlock something for you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.